evening, everyone. Welcome to At America, the U.S. Embassy's American Center. I am Andrea, and I will be your e-guide for today. Are you a STEM student who is searching for an opportunity to innovate and collaborate? If so, then today's event, Study Abroad with the Quad Fellowship, is the perfect event for you. But before we start our info session for today, I have a little trivia question for you to answer. Which of the following is not a country that is part of the Quad Fellowship initiators alongside with the United States? Is it A, Australia, B, India, C, Japan, or D, the United Kingdom? If you think you know the answer, you can submit your answer to our social media platforms, and the first person who is able to answer correctly will be receiving a shout out later in the very end of the event. So now, without further ado, I would like to invite our moderator for today. She is our Education USA advisor here at America. Please welcome Caroline Darmanto.
Hello. All right, sorry about that, everyone. But good evening and welcome to one of Education USA events this week. Thank you all for joining here on site and online. But before we start the event tonight, we're going to have a brief introduction of what Education USA is. So, as you can see on the map behind me, so Education USA is a network under the US Department of State, and we are available in over 170 countries globally. And you can see that we have several centers in Indonesia. We have two in Jakarta, one at the US Embassy and one at America. But the unique thing about At America is that we are open every day, 365 days per year. And then we have one center in Aceh, and we have a newly opened center in Medan. We have one in Surabaya, one in Malang, and one in Makassar. So if you have any questions and you want to know more about studying in the US, please feel free to contact one of the Education USA advisors that is closest to you, or you can make the appointment through the link on calendly.com/educationusa Indonesia, or you can scan the QR code right behind me. And don't be afraid, because we do advisings virtually as well. So if you don't live in any of the cities listed behind me, you can always make the appointment online and meet with us virtually. All right, so we have a very exciting, session tonight. I think everyone here in Indonesia have heard of a fellowship, and that is mostly provided by Fulbright, let's say. But today we're going to talk about the Quads Fellowship. That is something that not often heard here. So please help me welcome our speaker for today. Please help me welcome Cici from Institute of International Education, the outreach specialist for Quad Fellowship. So Cici, the floor is yours.
Hello, nice to meet everyone. Thank you for your interest today. And let me share the screen and share with you about the opportunity about the Quad Fellowship. One second. Okay. Yeah, thank you for the introduction again. And today is a great opportunity that I can share with you all, Indonesian students, to pursue the postgraduate program with the Quad Fellowship. So you can see the slide, right? Yeah, the Quad Fellowship is initiated by the government of the four Quad countries of Australia, India, Japan, and the United States as the first of its kind scholarship program to create a strong STEM network of the new generation scientists and technologists to advance knowledge and innovation and cooperation among the Quad countries. And we also have the support and sponsors from the corporate and leading industry in the STEM to participating in the funding and selection process, and also joining in the National Advisory Board. And early this year, the Quad Fellowship has expanded the reach to support the student from ASEAN country as well, including Indonesia. And this is to demonstrate the commitment of the Quad to the Indo-Pacific regions. So this is the first Quad Fellows. For last year, we have the first cohort of the Quad Fellow, which is an experience, impressive group of the students pursuing graduate degree. So more than these people go to the state, over 40 institutions across the state. And over 50% of these first class identify as women or non-binary, and they come from over 60 universities across the four Quad countries. And the cohort also includes the graduate with amazing profiles, like we have two Rhodes Scholars and two Knight Helsinki Scholars, a Schwarzman Scholar, a Fulbright Scholar, a National Science Foundation Graduate Research Fellows, a Commonwealth Scholar, and a New Colombo Plan Scholar. And we also have the fellows with us today, so you will hear from her in a minute. Yeah, and these are the university across the state that students are going to. So this is a really great opportunity. So you will pursue the STEM degree, either master or doctoral degree, and you can go to any university in the state in the following STEM field, which I will show you in the next slide. Just talk about what makes it different for the Quad Fellowship. This is a unique point. So this is the first multinational scholarship that focusing on the STEM and provided a higher financial award. So for this year, for the 2024, we provided 40,000 US dollar per academic year. So if you apply for other grants or other scholarship, you can also apply to the Quad Fellowship and use the award with other grants as well. And also the Quad Fellowship is sponsored by each Quad government and corporates in the STEM. So it's aimed to elevate the fellows' ability to use the STEM for the social impact. And the fellow will have a great opportunity for cross-cultural exchange in terms of ideas, knowledge, and doing research among the fellows from different Quad country and also ASEAN country as well. This is the key attribute of what make the Quad fellows, like if you want to apply, what is the characteristic that you should have. So of course, every scholarship, every fellowship will want to have the academic excellence, right? So the Quad fellow should demonstrate the excellence in the STEM field through the academic success. Competitive doctoral candidate can also show some research experience, or if you have published paper, or if you have any patent or startup or something like that, you can show it off and part of your academic profile. And also we are looking for the fellow who are interested and who have the interest and engagement in the social and science and technology that can have on the society and can express your interest in applying the study positively impact to others. So any other projects that you're working on, something like that, you can show it on the resume or you can reflect on the essay when you apply as well. And also great candidates should have the sense of curiosity or interest in building and sustaining the genuine connection between individual and different cultural and professional backgrounds, and also have initiatives and creativity. So the fellow should be able to describe your unique perspective and creative approach to issue what you most care about. So all these points are the qualification that the fellow should have, and you can explain this throughout your essay or showcase in your resume as well. So here, actually for this year, if you are interested to apply for the cycle is like this. So actually they're gonna apply before for the to start the fall semester in the US, right? So for the current year, for the 2024, the application already closed. Currently, we are in the selection process. So those who are applied already, meaning that they will start their program in the state in August this year. And actually, this is a great time that you learn about this opportunity today because you will have enough time to plan and to prepare your profile and gather like your material to apply. I will tell you the timeline in the next slide. Um, so this is the eligibility, and as you see, I put the mark as a cohort two, meaning that for the next cycle, for the next round, some information might be changed a little in terms of the degree program. So those information, I will suggest you to just follow on the website or sign up on our social media channel that you can know the update when we launch the next application cycle. But this is just like the big picture for you to see the eligibility in the big picture. So the applicant need to be at least 18 years old when you apply. Of course, everybody here, I believe that you already beyond 18, right? And yeah, if you ask like what is the average age of the applicant, so based on the previous cycle, it's around 26 or 27. The highest age is about 37. So there is no upper age limit. You can apply for the PhD at any age, right? And the eligibility, you need to hold the citizen, you need to have the citizenship or permanent resident of the four Quad country. And as mentioned early this year, they expand the reach, and that's why Indonesian can apply as well as the other 10 ASEAN country. The applicant need to have at least completed a bachelor degree in the STEM field. So all those science, engineering are welcome to apply, like computer science, physics, mathematics, welcome to apply. And for this second cohort cycle, students have to apply for the U.S. institution already. So again, when you graduate from your program, right, at whatever institution that you are at right now, if you plan to study abroad or study in the state, you will have to apply to the school in advance. And that is the same time that you can apply for the Quad Fellowship as well. It doesn't mean that during the same time you work in parallel. So you don't need to get the admission from the U.S. institution first to be able to apply to the Quad Fellowship. So just apply in parallel. And by the time that we do the selection process, like for example, right now, we will ask you to submit the like offer letter or admission letter from the university that you get admission to. Because this time around April or May is about the same time that the graduate school will give you the like the admission result. So it will go parallel with that timeline. And also the degree type, you can apply for the master degree or you can apply for the doctoral degree. And if you have bachelor degree but really really strong background, you have like 11 publications or you have patents already, and you want to apply directly to the PhD, that's also possible as well. So it depends on the university that you apply to. If you can get admission to, then this also will be available for you as well. You can apply for the Quad Fellowship. And here is the field of the study. So this is also based on the second cohort for this year. As I put the mark for this year, meaning that the next cycle we might open for more eligible STEM programs. So as you can see now, we have 17 STEM programs that you can apply for. And some university might name this program differently. So in case you wonder whether your program is eligible or not, for the next round, you can go to the application. I mean, you go to the website, and then we will have list of the degree, list of the field of study that you can check whether it fall into the area of your specialization or not. So here is the requirement, just the big picture again. So you can, as mentioned, you need at least to complete degree, the bachelor degree, and also the higher undergrad GPA is the better, right? There is no like mark what is the like minimum GPA required, but yeah, the higher is the better. And also for those who does for all the international student, it's require us to submit the TOEFL, IBT, or the IELTS academic. Only these two tests that we can accept. But if you study in the English institution for at least 2 years, this part you can get waived as well. Um, and this can be applied like for example, Indonesian student who already study in the program in the state, currently like in the state, and you maybe in the second year of your PhD, and you already like last year you already in the state, you study the program, and the second year you already like 2 years. So this case, some case like this, you can get waived on this English proficiency test. You don't have to submit it. And then another thing here, additional documents. So these documents are really important for the when the faculty review your application. These are very important material. So it's required 3 letters of recommendation from 2 academic advisor and 1 professional or supervisor that you work with. Or if you haven't worked yet or no work experience, but you might get like 3 letters from the academic supervisor or the research advisor as well. And then the statement of purpose, 650 words, and 2 short essays. So the 2 short essays is talking about is where you can reflect the activities or your life, or show who you are and those traits that the Quad Fellowship looking for. So it will ask you like the curiosity or compassion or integrity that you has for the STEM, and also the initiative or the creativity or the project that you work with the like social impact or involvement or engagement that you have back to the society using STEM or using science and technology. So in this area, I think in a minute, Diane can share with you in more detail because she already experienced this. And also the resume, at least 2 pages, professional resume. So those will be the showcase for you to show what you have done before, all the awards, or the honor that you have, or the publication that you have, presentation, or all those. It's kind of the stage that you can present yourself, not only the grade or the transcript from the undergrad school or the maybe master program, right? But this is all the material that essential for the faculty member to get to know you, then the reviewer to get to know you better and to give you the high score. So it will be based on this thing. So here is the timeline. So right now, as mentioned, the application for this cycle, if you apply for the academic year 2024-25 is already closed, and we are currently in the selection process, and we will announce the fellows, the result, who get the scholarship, who get the fellowship by July. So we'll know by that time. And then about the 4th quarter of this year, we will have the summit for the second cohort of the Quad Fellows, and we expect to launch the application for the third cohort of the Quad Fellowship. So as mentioned, as you learn about it now, it's great chance for you to prepare and gather information and learn about it, and also apply, look for the university in the state that you want to apply to, what kind of program, what kind of degree that you want to study. And yeah, just go on the website of the Quad Fellowship and stay tuned, and then we'll get update of the launch. So when it's open for the application, then you can submit the application as soon as you can. So you can see the QR code here. You can scan the QR code and then submit the interest form, and then we will email it to you about like all the updates about the program. So again, here is the website that you can go to, quadfellowship.org. And if you have any questions, you can go to quadfellowshipinfo@iie.org, or just write to me, but my email kind of challenging to send, so make sure that you copy and paste, because I type it wrong sometimes, even it's my name. Yeah, so I just pause a second so you can at least take the screenshot of this page. Yes, and then I pass it back to Caroline. Caroline, thank you so much.
Thank you, Cece. All right, so we're gonna have a second speaker. I think she can, she can tell her stories in terms of like how she applied for the Quad Fellowship and how her experiences have been so far. Okay, so please help me welcome our second speaker, Diane Salim. Diane, the floor is yours.
Hi, everyone.
All right, Diane, thank you so much for joining us. It was very last minute, but we're very happy that you're here. So I have a few questions for you. But before we start, do you mind introducing yourself for a little bit?
Hi, everyone. Yeah, I'm Diane. I'm currently a quad fellow, an Australian quad fellow studying astronomy in Rutgers University. But I was born in Jakarta and moved to Australia when I was 3 years old. And I've always had an interest in astronomy and pursued it at a research-based undergraduate degree at the Australian National University for my undergrad studies, where I was really lucky to get to be able to study abroad in Japan at the University of Tokyo under the New Colombo Plan program. And so after my undergraduate studies, I was really interested not just in astronomy, but also in machine learning, which was becoming a hot topic at the time and is still now a very hot topic. So I decided to take a gap year between my undergraduate and PhD studies and work as a machine learning engineer in Tokyo for about a year and a half before starting my PhD. And so now I'm in my fourth year of my PhD. I'm in my dissertation phase. And currently doing really exciting research, or what I think is really exciting research.
Okay, that's very interesting. Diane, so I do have a question for you. How did you find out about the Quad Fellowship?
I think I just got an email from my department, and then I just looked it up. So I just decided to apply. That's kind of one of the things I do to procrastinate doing my actual work. I look up like things to apply for.
All right, perfect. Now, do you mind sharing your experiences so far with the quad programming, or maybe any other programs that you've been with before?
Yeah, so after I was awarded the Quad Fellowship, we had a summit in Melbourne, Australia, where we all gathered and were able to meet the other Quad Fellows. And this was really integral to the program because making the networks within the Quad Fellowship cohort has been one of the most rewarding and fulfilling things that has come out of being awarded the Quad Fellowship, besides the monetary award itself. Being able to network with other people who have similar intentions to bridge industry and academic fields, and Asian Pacific and Western values and ideas has been really awesome, and it's really opened my eyes to a lot of different perspectives.
All right. So you mentioned you joined a summit in Melbourne before, right? So are you still in touch with a lot of the people who went to the summit, or maybe have you guys ever been collaborated on a project or anything else that you can share with us?
I personally have never collaborated with anybody on a project, but I've become really good friends with quite a lot of people that I've met through the Quad Summit. And I know that I think some people do some collaboration because there's like a group chat, and it's very active. Like people are posting things about like competitions and things that they see all the time, and they're always soliciting uh, other members to join the projects. So I think it's a very lively group, and people really are passionate about trying to make a difference with their science.
All right, perfect. Now, do you mind sharing some tips with with everyone here on how they can prepare for the application, such as the essays or maybe the TOEFL test, if you had to take it? I don't think you had to take it, right? Because you went to
No, not
Australia
TOEFL.
for studies. Okay.
Yeah, not.
Yeah, and maybe anything else in terms of like how do you highlight the resume or your activities, because you have to be active, right? You have to have some initiative and something else.
Sure, yeah. So firstly, you have to really showcase your science. That's at the core of the application, and your identity as a scientist. Like, what are you studying? Highlight what are you studying and how your science is important, not just for your specific subfield of science, but also um, other fields. Um, so, for example, I guess I can put an example for what I study myself. I study turbulence in the interstellar medium in galaxies, which means the gas in galaxies. And this gas is very turbulent. And turbulence is characterized by a cascade of energy from large scales to small scales. That's why you see turbulence everywhere in the world, like in ocean waves, to like your coffee cup when you stir it, and there's like little eddies uh, on the in the back of the spoon. Studying turbulence in astrophysics, where the environments are are the most extreme you could possibly get, could have um, could have implications for turbulence studies in other fields of physics, such as aeronautics or climate science, for example. So it's really important to link your science to where it could be used in other situations or other scenarios. Um, Secondly, I think it's really important to link your science to how it's beneficial for society as well, like how the development of science um, can um, can be linked to like things like human development or development of infrastructure. Because they really want to see that you're interested in um, uh, the link between humanities and science, and that you're this bridge between these two fields. And lastly, they're really interested in your position as a scientist in wanting to bridge cultural gaps or cultures between the Quad countries and ASEAN as well. Now, I suppose. Um, so I think you all are in a really good position because you're based in an Asian country, or an ASEAN country with a um, very special characteristics and special cultures. Um, and in going to the US, you're bringing those cultures with you, and yeah, learning about maybe a Western perspective, and you're able to like bring your special perspective over to uh, share with people in Western cultures. So I think yeah, highlighting the capacity for you to like be a bridge between these cultures could be um, uh, really strategic.
All right, thank you. Do you mind me asking how long did it take you to prepare for the application?
To be honest, I did it quite last minute
Oh,
because I
really?
found out about it a little bit last minute. Yeah, so a couple of days, I
Only
think.
a couple of days to work on the essays and everything else.
Yeah, I think so. I got some friends to help me edit and things like that. I remember.
All right, that's really amazing. Now, do you have any encouraging messages or, you know, any messages basically for anyone who wants to apply for the Quad Fellowship?
Sure, yeah. I think like in coming to this information session, you all are already so ahead of the game. And you're going to be so prepared for writing this application. Um, you already have like a background of what the Quad Fellowship is looking for, and you can start preparing your arguments and your uh, answers to the essays, which were kind of giving you an idea of what they're about right now. Um, so yeah, as I said, I think it'd be really amazing for other Indonesian people to make a presence in Western science. Like science is such a neo-colonialist institution. So I think it'd be amazing to have more Asian perspectives, which and diversify science. That would be really heartwarming to see. And I think I'm of that I know of, I'm the only like Indonesian heritage person in my cohort so far. So it'll be like really amazing to meet other Indonesian scientists, yeah, through the Quad Fellowship. And I look forward to meeting any of you there.
All right, thank you so much. I do have a few questions for both of you, Cici and Diane. So don't go anywhere, and then we are also going to take some questions from our audience online and offline. Um, now, Cici, I just need to clarify one thing. I think on your slide it says a minimum of 18 years of age, and then it also says that you have to have a minimum of a bachelor's degree. So, so if someone is 18 but does not have a bachelor's degree yet, then they can't apply for this fellowship, correct?
Correct.
That person is going to be a genius
So
to have a bachelor's degree at 18 years old.
no. They need at least at the time of application, they have to be at least 18. So by the time that most people graduated with the undergrad degree,
Mhm.
usually 20, right?
Yeah,
20, 21,
20, 20,
22.
yeah.
Yeah. So my point is there is no upper age limit because
Ah,
somebody like
okay.
in that 30, they already work, they already like finished master for a couple years been in the industry already and maybe interested in pursuing the PhD or the research degree. So no upper age limit. If they're still in 30s or late 30s, 35,
Right.
they can still apply.
All right, okay. So 45 is okay, but 17, no, not okay. Okay, perfect. That, because I read that and I was like, does someone has to be okay, someone has to graduate a bachelor's degree
Not
at the age
10.
of 18.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, so
Thank you for clarifying.
so I mean, Sissy, Diane, you sound like a very very intelligent woman with everything that you've done, the research and the studies, even before you were a quad fellow. So I just want to know, Diane, for you, one, was it difficult? Do you think was it difficult to apply for quad fellowship? And for CC, in reality, how hard is it to get the fellowship? Any one of you can start.
Like, okay. I don't think it was particularly, I wouldn't say it was particularly hard in terms of like time spent or anything,
Mm-hmm.
or energy expended in
Mm-hmm.
applying for the fellowship itself. So there was one round of essays, which was probably the most time-consuming aspect,
Mm-hmm.
and then two rounds of interviews, which was like a little bit anxiety-inducing, sure, but it wasn't like a big time sink or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't have to do that much like preparation or anything. It wasn't like a job interview kind of interview,
Mm-hmm.
where you have to like study for it. So in terms of that perspective, I wouldn't say it was hard. I'd say it was like um, interesting to think about the prompts that were given by the essay questions. And so I, don't know, I found the process more fun than hard, I would describe it.
Okay. What about you, Cece?
Yeah, I would agree with Diane. In my perspective, most of the students who study STEM, you are intelligent already. So you have great profile. So just tell who you are, and just like Diane shared previously, those prompts in the essay, or curiosity, or social impact, or creativities, how you gonna bridge the STEM with the um, like cultural or people. So those are the things that they are looking at, not only the academic, but the faculty will review the application holistically. So there will be a couple points like academic side, also those two essay, and also the statement of purpose that they will look at. So just explain yourself, and showcase yourself, because I found many times Asian students tend to be shy and humble, and we don't want to like, oh, maybe we say too much, maybe they don't want to know. They want to know everything about you. So just say it out and put it on the resume. If you think that you are outstanding, you are great, you are excellent. So all those attributes, just put it on there. And if you ask how difficult it is, I think um, it's not difficult, because as mentioned earlier, the baseline for all of you who study in the STEM already high. So I think you are in the high standard level, and just explain and being yourself, and get right on the essay, and just all those prompts, and get to the point, and kind of clarify yourself.
All right. Thank you. That's very encouraging. Now, while we're talking about the application itself, is it possible for someone, let's say I apply for a quad fellowship and then I got rejected this year. Is it possible for me to reapply for it?
That's a great question. So a lot of people reapply, um, because if you are in the first year right now, and then the second year you can reapply. But if you get the quad fellows position already, like for Diane, next year you cannot apply again, because you already been the senior fellows, right? So those who never get the fellowship, they can reapply if they don't get it this year, because sometimes the competition is really high, um, and yeah, maybe you are really great, but just maybe did not prep yourself enough for this year. So you can do the second try in case you did not get it this year.
Okay. But is there a maximum cap in terms of like how many times a person can try for the fellowship? Or is it just twice? Or maybe there's no limitation?
There is no limitation, but I think student will stop trying after like 3 times.
That happens before?
Just themselves. No,
Okay.
just themselves, right? When you're applying for something and then you don't really get it, yeah, but there's no limit. You can keep applying.
Okay. Okay, so a person can reapply, but if someone has already, given the opportunity to be a quad fellow, then they cannot reapply for the same fellowship.
Correct.
All right, great. Now, so we have a few questions from our audience online, so I'm gonna read them. Um, I guess this one is for CC. Is it possible for interdisciplinary students to apply for this?
Um, can you clarify by like
So basically, let's
cross
say,
field or
sorry?
cross field
Yes,
or
yeah, like a CrossFit student.
I think I
uh,
can answer.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I think like it's 100%. You can definitely apply for interdisciplinary students. In fact, I think it's really encouraged to have different perspective to come in with like different perspectives, like not just science, but also coming from humanities. Like I know one of the fellows whose degree is Masters of Science and MBA joint degree.
Oh, nice.
Um, so yeah, yeah. So it's I think it's even a something you could leverage and take advantage of in your application.
All right. Thank you. Cici, is there
I would
anything
I
you
would
want
like
to?
to add the
Mm-hmm.
point, yeah. But those cross field, at least one field has to be STEM.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so it cannot be like pure marketing or digital marketing, and then I want to apply for machine learning, which is possible. But if you do not have background in the STEM for your bachelor, then although you apply for the machine learning course
Mm-hmm.
or computer science course, without the background in the STEM,
Mm-hmm.
then this case might not be, yeah, might be difficult to get into the deeper round.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Now, the other question is having a professional experience a requirement, or is it just encouraged?
Is encouraged.
Okay. So,
The more you have is
mhm,
the better.
I see. And I think it's probably better for the SAT, right? Because they then they can elaborate more, and they can they can have different perspectives on a lot of things. It enhances their profile.
Yes. So um, the reason I mentioned that you know it early right now is better because so you can start doing all those things. Like you can start having um, joining the clubs or
Mm-hmm.
doing some activities during the time that you still
Mm-hmm.
before you graduate. So you can partner with some friends to work on some project. So in a short time, I think you can also initiate a lot of stuff, right? So from now until the end of this year, at least you have 6 months or 7 months.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I'm sure that if you're really interested in this, you can start creating your profile and work on these all these elements. If you never have experience, that's fine, but you can work on something today, and that will if even though you don't apply for this quad fellowship, it might work on the other opportunity as well. So it will be good for your um, overall profile anyway. Yeah, so I encourage to start doing some activities, extra
Mm-hmm.
curriculum, um, starting today.
All right, thank you. My next question, so it's not from the audience, but it's from me, but it's for Diane. So Diane, I wonder why you chose Rutgers University.
Sure. Yeah, I was really interested in working with the supervisor that I'm working with now,
Mm-hmm.
who I met at a conference when I was in my undergrad,
Mm-hmm.
during my undergrad studies. And she has a joint appointment between Rutgers University and this private research institute called the Flatiron Institute, which is funded by the Simons Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
And they have like exceptional resources for computational science. So I really wanted to work there.
Mm-hmm.
And since that institute is located in New York City, I'd also have the opportunity to live in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like a big person, like a big city person, right? Like
Okay.
I've lived in like Jakarta, like Melbourne, like Tokyo, like they're all like big cities. So I couldn't live in a small city. So I really wanted to position myself in the New York City area.
And how are you enjoying it so far?
Yeah, it's really fun. I love New York.
Mm-hmm.
I love like the diversity of the people
Mm-hmm.
yeah, in this place and the diversity of like activities or yeah, activities you can expose yourself
Mm-hmm.
to and any hobbies you can pursue. And there's so much to explore outside of your science, which I think enriches the PhD experience.
Okay. And how long have you been in New York right now?
I've been here for 3.5 years now, almost, maybe three and one third year, something like that.
Okay, that's very fun. Okay, thank you, Diane. Now, my question is for Cici. So, Cici, I think a lot of people here are aware that if they have a scholarship or get a sponsorship to go abroad for a study, then they usually have to return to their home country, and it's usually for an X amount of year or something. How about the Quad Fellowship? Does a person has to return to their own to the home country, and if so, for how long?
Yeah, actually, the Quad Fellowship is to provide a fellowship for one academic year,
Mm-hmm.
meaning that if they get in the first year, it depends on their visa type. So
Mm-hmm.
if they get the student visa, meaning that they can maybe after they graduate, they can do 1 year practical training and they
Mm-hmm.
have to return home. Otherwise, they have to apply for a job, and if they get a job in the state, and the company apply for the visa and change the status to the work visa, then they can stay.
Mm-hmm.
But for the Quad Fellowship, students do not need to pay back or return anything. It one-time fund and then provided them. And as Diane mentioned, it's not only monetary benefit that they will get. The
Mm-hmm.
programming and the alumni network that they will get is more worthwhile.
That's very interesting because a lot of the fellowships that we know here in Indonesia, at least, they have to return here, so they might lose the opportunity to, you know, to work in the U.S. Do you know what type of student visas they usually get? Is it the
Yeah, F1, I believe.
F1? Ah, okay, all right.
Is that right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
That's the
I've been away from my student visa for over 20 years.
okay.
So yeah, I believe F1.
Okay, F1. All right, perfect. Now, um, let's see. Let me sort the questions here. Um, okay, so talking about the requirements and the documents that needs to be provided, you mentioned there's TOEFL or IELTS. Is it just TOEFL and IELTS? If so, what's the minimum score that you guys accept?
Um, we do not have mark on that. Like
Mm-hmm.
we do not have guideline on that. But if
Mm-hmm.
you ask me to suggest for the TOEFL, I would suggest maybe 100, and for the IELTS at least 6.5. That would be good.
Okay, so around
So
6.5 and
basically,
equivalent.
yeah, basically, when you apply to the grad school in the
Mm-hmm.
state as an international student, they
Mm-hmm.
also require the TOEFL, and those are the same report that you can use to apply for the Quad Fellowship.
Okay, I see. All right, so we have a question. The question is, if an ongoing master's student wants to apply for the Quad Fellowship for their second year, should they still submit the TOEFL, IBT, or IELTS academic score?
If they have the certificate from the previous year,
Mm-hmm.
they can use the previous certificate because it's valid 2 years, right? So if they're in the second year, they can apply for the quad using the TOEFL or IELTS from the when they apply for the grad school.
Okay, as long as the score is still valid, then that's totally
Yeah.
okay. All right, perfect. Now, this one is an interesting question. I think it's for both Cece and Diane. The question is, how will participating in the Quad Fellowship program benefit my academic and career goals? I think, Diane, you might want to start with this.
Sure. I think like put very simply, it looks great on your resume. Um, to have another award
Mm-hmm.
uh, achieved.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I think even more than that, the opportunities that can open up through this fellowship
Mm-hmm.
are really amazing and something you could pursue um, uh, 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 even later in your career. Like
Mm-hmm.
there are industry sponsors to this fellowship,
Mm-hmm.
so you can have access to um, representatives from these industry sponsors who you could contact for maybe internships or future job opportunities. and even just like having a network of um, other students pursuing higher education in sciences, like these people can be your colleagues in the future. I think just like the networking opportunities that this fellowship facilitates is like really incredible, and like will definitely be beneficial to anyone's career.
All right. Cece, do you want to add something?
Yeah, I think Diane covered it perfectly.
All right. Now, the other question is, let's see, the eligibility, we've asked that. Um, okay. It's for CC. How many Indonesian students have joined the fellowship? Do you have the data?
Because this year is the first year that the Quad Fellowship open for ASEAN students.
Mm-hmm.
So we do not have the fellows from ASEAN yet. But this year we have over 100, almost 200 from ASEAN um, countries that submit the applications.
Wow. Okay. Any any idea in terms of like how many people you'll accept?
We'll have to wait until July because right now we are in the selection process.
Okay. And how long does a person have to wait until they get the the acceptance or maybe the rejection?
The timeline will be different for the next round. So
Okay.
I would still, sorry that I cannot provide the answer right now
That's
because
okay.
this year timeline kind of off. But I encourage the student interested candidate here to follow the website, and then we'll provide more information about the timeline and then how long, kind of the more announcement on the website later on.
Okay. I think we have one more. Let's see. Okay, so I think in the slides you mentioned, I mean, there were corporate logos over there, right? Um, are there any post fellowship opportunities available for the Quad Fellowship students, or will you guys help with, say, finding a job, or maybe the network to the corporations?
Um, as Diane explained earlier in her answer, so there will be opportunity for the fellows to connect. That will be the available network. But
Okay.
in terms of like listing for the quad fellow, um, like the free pass ticket, something like that might not have. But for the networking, or you reach out to them, and they will be very happy to support
Mhm.
or provide like be the connecting point, kind of like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, the next question is for you again, Sissy. We noticed that it's $40,000 per year that you guys provide for a fellow. Does that cover the whole thing, or is will you guys provide for just like the tuition, let's say, or is it like the living cost as well?
So it's cover the academic related expense.
I
So
see.
if student have like research project that
Mm-hmm.
they're going another city,
Mm-hmm.
so that will cover as well. So it depends because sometimes students get other grants and fund as
Right.
well. So it depends. They have to discuss with the university or the
Mm-hmm.
institution that they study with um, about the policy of using the money. But those details will be announced once you get the fellows.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's say I'm asking because a lot of the Indonesian students here, they have they have a grant from Fulbright. So this can
Yeah.
be added on top of that Fulbright grant, correct?
Correct.
Okay. All right. I think that's all the questions that we have for tonight. Let me check. Yeah, I think that's all the questions that we have for tonight. But I do want to ask, both of you to maybe say some more encouraging messages or some tips or anything that you think will be helpful for, the next Indonesian students who want to apply for the Quad Fellowship?
Diane.
Okay, Diane can start.
No, let Diane share first.
Yeah, I think as I said before, like you're all already in like in an amazing position to be applying for this fellowship. Um, you're already so like motivated to be coming to this information session. Um, so I think that that motivation and like willingness to like get out there and further your studies will really shine through your application, no doubt. So I think just like um, strategizing what you want to say in your application, taking some time to strategize what you want to say in your application and connecting it back to the values of the Quad Fellowship. Um, if like yeah, if you do that, I think you'd have a really good chance of getting through the deeper rounds of the application process.
Thank you, Diane. Cece, do you want to say something?
I would say that this is a nothing to lose opportunity. So I would encourage you to apply, even though you might not have enough experience. You might think that you might not have, but when you reflect yourself, all the work that you do or extracurriculum activity that you put in your resume, it might reflect on something that is like the value of STEM that you have that will have the social impact. So something like that. Just apply. And it doesn't cost you money, right, to apply. And also, again, it can use with other grants as well. So if you apply for other grants, you can also apply for the quad, and it will be great practicing as well because when you prepare the applications or you prepare the essay, you get to reflect on yourself and the work that you have done. So, and then you can apply for other things, either jobs, career, or other opportunities. So that will be a great time for you to practice. And better than that, if you apply, you may get the scholarship and then a lot of benefit, not only money, but like opportunity in the future that will connect you and bring you the bright future for your career. It will be like excellent opportunity. So I hope that you will be interested and seize the opportunity to apply for the Quad Fellowship.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Cece. Thank you. Thank you, Cece. Thank you, Diane, for joining us tonight. Diane, I know it's very early in the morning for you, so we really appreciate you joining us. I hope you have the good rest of the day. Cece, you too, you have a good night. And everyone here, I hope with this info session, you know more about the Quad Fellowship and it encourages you to apply for it. And Cece, I hope that you will get more Indonesian students in the future. Thank you, everyone, for watching. And I'm going to give the floor back to Andrea.
Okay, thank you so much, Kat Caroline. Thank you so much, Diane and Cece, for today's info session. And thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in for today's session. Don't forget to apply your application. Again, as mentioned before, it is a nothing to lose opportunity. You miss all the shots you don't shoot. And earlier, before this event, I asked a little trivia question, which was, which of the following is not a country that is part of the Quad Fellowship initiators alongside the United States? And the answer is D, the United Kingdom. Congratulations to Ananda Plisi from Instagram for answering the question correctly. And if you think today's event is fun, please don't forget to follow us on our social media. We are on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at AT America. And please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel and newsletter as well. And again, thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in to today's session. Again, with me, Andrea, and see you at the next At America event. Bye-bye.
Okay, is it okay if I log off now?